I have some really interesting video to go through with you guys today. We are going to look at an interview that Republican Kentucky Senator Rand Paul did yesterday on Newsmax TV with host Greg Kelly. And he really makes a complete fool of himself. And there's something very interesting happening with Rand Paul. You might remember that Rand Paul kind of became buddies with Donald Trump while Donald Trump was president. They would play golf. And increasingly, Rand Paul would defend the things that Donald Trump would say and do. And the pattern tended to be Trump would say something completely wacky or crazy or suggest or enact some completely harebrained policy or executive order. And Rand Paul would then appear on TV. And he would sort of put like a slightly less crazy spin on it compared to Donald Trump. And compared to the way Trump was talking about the issue, Rand Paul would seem marginally more rational. But what's going on now is that with Donald Trump gone, Rand Paul is still saying equivalently wacky things as to what he was saying before. But without the even crazier Trump to compare him to, he seems as out of his mind as he has been for many, many years. So let's take a look at some of these. Rand Paul here says, you can't impeach a president who has left office, of course, ignoring the fact that Donald Trump was impeached while in office. It's the trial that will start soon. But the impeachment of Trump, remember, impeachment happens in the House, did take place while Donald Trump was president.
We had a vote on the floor, and 45 Republicans said, look, you can't really impeach somebody who's already left office. That doesn't make any sense at all.
So they've been repeating this one a lot. It's wrong. Trump was impeached while president. But imagine that defense anywhere else. The murder I committed. Yeah, I did that when I was a manager of a KFC. I don't have that job anymore. So anything I did while working at that job doesn't count because I can't get fired from there anymore. I already don't work there. What? Where else would that argument apply? And of course, it's factually wrong since Trump was impeached while he was president of the United States. Then Rand Paul tries to both sides the January 6th Trump riots by saying, listen, remember when that guy shot Steve Scalise? He was a Bernie supporter incited by healthcare. Now, what incited by healthcare means, I don't know. But let's listen to Rand Paul.
To beat this, and I think it's a terrible thing that they're doing to the country. The other thing is that even on the facts of the matter, whether or not there was an incitement of violence, I also mentioned in that speech you showed on the floor that, look, when I was at the ball field and Steve Scalise was almost killed, 4 other staffers were shot, including one of them that was 10 feet from me. The guy who shot up the ball field and almost killed 20 of us was a Bernie Sanders supporter, and he'd been incited by health care.
Incited by health care is not a phrase you typically hear in the world. But of course, Rand Paul here is either being disingenuous or ignorant. Bernie Sanders didn't incite anyone to shoot anybody. If the guy who shot Steve Scalise was a Bernie supporter and he shot Steve Scalise, that's very different than Trump at 12:45 on January 6th saying, we're going down to the Capitol, and Rudy saying, we're going to do trial by combat, and on. And then at 1:15 p.m., 30 minutes later, they do it. They do it because Trump said it and because they thought they could steal the election for Trump. The analogy is so absurd, it's not even coherent. And we're seeing this from more Republicans than just Rand Paul, trying to sort of both sides this to try to make what happened on January 6th equivalent to other things. And of course, there's two layers in which there's two ways in which it's not equivalent. Number one, the acts that took place on January 6th are dramatically different than what these right wingers are trying to equate them to. But more importantly, no president, sitting or former, incited any of the other stuff that they are talking about. And that's the subject matter of the impeachment. Rand Paul then goes on a very strange rant where he starts saying that a lot of what is called climate change might merely be the result of the Earth's tilt, not greenhouse gases or human activities on Earth. Scientists disagree with what Rand Paul is saying here. Remember, Rand Paul's an ophthalmologist.
Well, some of this started a while back because, when we started talking about climate change and global warming, that was before they decided they weren't sure whether it was getting colder or warmer. But now it's climate change. It's become so sort of settled science that everybody says there's only one way you can think. That's a recipe for a closed-mindedness that really prevents innovation and prevents us moving forward. But if I were to say that there's geological changes over long periods of time, about 100,000-year cycles, these were called the Milosevic cycles, and that they have to do with hot and cold, and I'm not sure how much is sort of this natural phenomenon based on the Earth's tilt and how much is true to man, they would say I'm a denier.
So it's not that Rand Paul is a denier per se, although it sounds like he might be. It's that he's an ideologically biased libertarian ophthalmologist who doesn't know about this stuff and for political reasons doesn't want to accept what science has determined to be the reality on this issue. So what's very instructive for me about this is that for some of us, compared to the wackiness of Trump, a lot of these other Republicans for the last 4 years, up to a week ago, a lot of these Republicans for the last 4 years seemed comparatively less crazy than Donald Trump. And it's probably true to some degree. With Trump now gone, we are reminded of just how wacky Rand Paul is and just how wacky a lot of these other people are. We knew it all along, but with Trump in comparison, it was less obvious in some ways. It's now very, very clear. One of our sponsors today is Lucy, and they are giving my audience 20% off. Lucy is a company founded by Caltech scientists with only one mission, which is to help people quit smoking and vaping by offering a clean, affordable nicotine alternative. Now, many of you know, you've heard the stories. I've known several people in my life who have struggled with quitting smoking. I've seen how difficult it can be, and nicotine alternatives can be hugely helpful. Lucy offers a nicotine gum in 3 flavors: wintergreen, cinnamon, and pomegranate. They also have lozenges, which come in cherry ice flavor. Lucy is affordable. It'll ship right to your door. You don't have to go out to the store. Shipping is always free. You can buy single boxes or save with a subscription. It's time to throw the cigarettes away and get rid of the vape, and Lucy can make it easier. You'll find a ton of excellent reviews online from countless people who have used Lucy to quit smoking and vaping. Go check them out at lucy.co. I've put the link right underneath this video, and you'll get 20% off when you use the coupon code Pakman. And just a quick disclaimer, I'm required to give: these products contain nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.